Hi, and welcome back to It's Never Too Late to Date. We are the channel about dating after the age of 60. And today we're going to be talking about body language signs for men to watch for to tell whether or not the woman is interested in them. Now, body language signs, you do them unconsciously. You don't even realize when you're doing them half the time. It's just all about how our body responds when we are attracted to someone or something. And so keep that in mind as you listen to these body language signs. And be sure to stay tuned to the end because we will be talking about the one body language sign that for men, you'll know that she's not interested and just move along. Quickly, this video is for both men and women because women, if you know what the body language signs are, you can use them to attract men. And so they're normally, you do them unconsciously, but if you know what they are, you can use them to your benefit. And men, if you want to know what signs you should be aware of as far as the things that you do unconsciously to attract women, then you'll want to watch the video that I posted last week, and it'll be linked down in the comments. Some of these signs will show up when someone is just interested in talking with you or chatting with you, and there may not be any romantic intention. So be sure that you watch for more than one sign. You're going to want to see a number of these signs just to be sure that you're getting the right signal from the woman. So we're going to start off from the least noticeable or less important one and going on to the biggest sign that shows you that a woman is attracted to you. So number one is, like I said, the least, is that she's facing you. She's oriented towards you. Her feet are pointed towards you if you're standing talking face to face. If you're sitting down, she's got her legs crossed and her toes are pointing toward you. Now, we talked about this in the flirting video that I posted a bit ago. And same thing, you're going to want to watch for other signs as well. But whenever you're talking with somebody and you've got a stance that's open to them directly and your body's orientated toward them, usually there's some interest there, whether it's you just want to get to know them better as a friend, but it is a sign of interest and attraction. All right, and then to the next one is she's always asking you questions about yourself. And that's another one that we talked about in getting to know somebody. You're going to ask if you are interested in getting to know someone, you're going to ask them questions about themselves. So you're going to see these first two, and some of the first ones you're going to notice those are just signals or signs that somebody wants to get to know you better. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're romantically interested. Not yet. So you want to keep listening. We'll get to those in just a second. Is mirroring. And mirroring it's involuntary. You don't even realize when you're doing it, but when you're sitting across or talking to someone that you are attracted to, our body just goes into this mode where you see them do something and you do it back and you're not even really thinking about it, but it happens. And I've watched it. I've watched myself do it, but also I've been aware of other people that are doing that. When I know of a friend of mine who's interested in a guy that she's talking to, I can watch and see her body language, and I know what her intent is, and it's definitely showing in her body language. She's doing what he's doing, and it just goes back and forth. So if you see this and you notice that the woman is mirroring you and you are interested in her, then you'll want to mirror her back as well. And it becomes kind of funny because you'll realize that after watching that you just kind of it goes back and forth, and it's very mutual. Is for most women, they play with their hair. Now, I haven't noticed so much. I've always had short hair. Do I put my hand up and rub my hand through my hair? I don't think so, but it's like I said, these things are unconscious. But for women with longer hair, usually there's a twirl going around the fingers, or you're flipping it off of your shoulder, and it's one of those things that women do, and it's a flirty motion, as well as sometimes when women are around somebody that they're attracted to, then they kind of overheat a little bit, and all the hair on the neck is kind of be very uncomfortable. So they're flipping the hair off of their neck in an attempt to cool off a little bit, but it shows off, and you'll see that she possibly might be sweating a little bit. And then the next one is eye contact. And normally, when you're getting to know someone and you know how to win friends and influence people, like the book says, you'll know that you should always make good eye contact with the person that you're talking to. It definitely shows them that you're interested in what they have to say, that they have your total attention. And so the worst thing is to when you're talking with somebody, especially if you've never met them before, is always be glancing away, looking at the door or looking behind them or whatever. It appears that you're more interested in who else is in the room or who else is coming into the room than the person that you're talking to. So you want to be sure that, as the woman in this part, that you make good eye contact with the man. And men, if she is making really good eye contact and not just in a staring way, but where you know that you've got her full attention, then you know that there's definitely some interest there. And then on to the next is she comes in your personal space. Now, I probably should have mentioned this one a little bit earlier, because what happens here is if you're in a room with a bunch of people, or even if it's a small group, yeah, if you come within 4 feet of someone, you walk into a room and get within 4 feet, then you're kind of into their space. And usually for men, that's a sign if a woman comes that close in that she is wants to get your attention and is interested in talking with you. Now, if she comes even closer within 2 feet, that's your personal space, and then you know for sure that there's some interest there. And so just kind of watch for those signs as people get close enough to talk. Now, normally, if you're usually within, I'd say 2 feet of someone. If you're in a crowded room, you sometimes have to get close like that in order to hear what the other person is saying. So, as I mentioned, that's just one of the signs. But if you're in a place where there's not a lot of noise and you're able to talk to someone, if that person gets within your 2 foot zone, then you know that there's definitely a level of interest. Now, keep in mind, if you're not interested, usually if the person's not interested, you'll see them kind of back out of that zone if you get too close. So be aware, you got to watch both angles. And then the next one for women is, and I haven't paid attention to this one much either, but flared nostrils. And so if a woman is interested, maybe it comes out with a laughter, or when you smile, you open up, your whole face opens up. And that's something that was noted as one of the signs, is flared nostrils. So I'm going to be watching for that with friends of mine, and men, watch for that too. Let me know if you've noticed that in any women that have been interested in you. And then the next one is draws attention to her lips. Now you'll find I have noticed this definitely when women are talking to men, and or even for me too. If there's somebody that I like, I become self-conscious, and this was in the past. But if I become self-conscious, and you're kind of you're biting on your fingers, or and you it's unconscious way to get his attention on your lips. And so this is one true sign. And a lot of times you'll see women do it by getting into their purse and reapplying lipstick. I usually don't do that in front of other guys. I mean, in front of guys, but some women do. And so if that's what they're doing, they're trying to draw attention to their lips. Very intimate part and sensual part of a woman's body. And then on to the next one. Her pupils will dilate. And I usually have my glasses on, so whether somebody can tell that with me or not, but usually if you're paying attention and you're keeping good eye contact, you do look away every once in a while. You don't want to bore a hole through somebody's head by staring at them. But if you're paying attention, you'll see that when a woman is attracted to you and she really likes you, that her pupils will dilate. So keep an eye out for that. That's another, it's just a hormonal thing that happens, a physical thing that happens. And like I said, mentioned, we don't have a lot of control over it. It's not something, you can't dilate your eyes on purpose. So you know that that is a true sign that's kind of happening involuntarily by the woman. And then as we're getting down to the last one or two, one thing that women I know that women do is there is a flirty glance that women do, and it's usually looking down and opening up to one side. So if the guys, I would say the guys over on this side, and you're trying to make a point, actually be over here, and you are looking down and kind of doing a sideways glance like this. Now I have my glasses on. You, I don't know that you can see it all that well, but it's more of a flirty kind of nod and eyelashes up toward the guy. And I don't flutter, never fluttered, but it's just a blinking, slow blinking, and you're looking at him sideways. And it just opens up the neck, which is a very sensual part of a woman. And then down to the last one. And this, we have to, as women, be careful when we do this. And I know that from talking with a lot of men about this body language sign is that if you're reaching out and you're touching the guy, then he's going to think that you're very interested. If you are interested, then great. You know, tap him on the shoulder, on the arm. It's definitely a sign of attraction that a woman is interested in you. Now, men sometimes will do this to women as well. Can mean a lot of things. So that's not necessarily one of the ones for women. But as far as a flirty sign, and I talked about it in the flirting video, but it's definitely a flirting sign coming from a woman to a man. And so men, be aware of that. If there's a woman that you're talking to and she's constantly reaching out, tapping you on the arm or the shoulder, or, you know, then she's definitely interested, unless she's a big flirt. And by flirt, I mean very friendly. And some women do it and don't even think about it because they like people. So just make sure you've got that sign. That's a big one. And there's some other signs in there to tell you truly that she is interested. As I promised, here is the sign to look for so that you know that a woman is definitely not interested. And this sign is, women show it all of the time, and it's usually not believed or not noticed. And so, men, here you go. If you're talking with a woman and she's got her arms crossed like this, that means she's not interested. A lot of people feel that that is a sign that she's cold and she's whatever. But normally it's a sign that she's protecting herself, that she does not want to be vulnerable to you. And when if you were to heed that and walk away, and somebody else comes up to her who she knows, you would notice that her hands would come down, that her arms would not be folded. So pay attention to this. Don't waste your time trying to, you know, break through that barrier of a woman with her arms crossed. Now, if you have the opportunity to be around somebody again at a future time who has, in the first time being around you, has had the arms crossed and showing that sign of distrust, and not needing to protect themselves or be vulnerable, you may find that later on, as they get to know you, then that trust level will increase and that wall will come down. And so not everybody's got that chance to do that. But if you do, and it's somebody that maybe you work with or that you're in the same social circle with, you may just need to give it some time. You never know what somebody's been through. And sometimes they're just protecting themselves from everyone. So just keep that in mind. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope that you learned something new. And be sure to like and subscribe and make comments that you, if you've had experience with some of these signs, if you tried some of these before. A lot of people know about body language, but forget to use it or forget to notice it. And so you want to be aware and try to do a little bit of both in your dating experience. And thank you again for joining me. We'll see you on the next video.